Yep, fuel prices right now have got us rethinking how we travel. Whether you're out there on the road with us or you're watching from home saving your pennies, join us on our very last Deep South camping adventure before we make tracks north for the incoming winter. We cook up some feasts on the open campfire, and we've got our mountain bikes on Wolf at long last. If you're new here, I'm Heidi, and this is my husband Matt and our adventure dog Teddy. Our channel, Horton Adventures, shares with you the journey of full-time travel, exploring New Zealand for now, and all the highlights and realities of taking the road less travelled. We honestly didn't think that we'd still be down in the Deep South still. However, here we are. It seems we've truly embraced the go slow traveller life now, and we decided to make the most of still being around our family and friends with one last camping trip at Easter. We arrived to a busy campground late in the day, and we really didn't do too much for the next couple of days, just bushwalks, keeping the campfire stoked during the rainy weather, and enjoying the good company. These beef short ribs would marinate in the sweet and spicy dry rub that we made up for the night, and the next day be cooked up for my birthday tea over the campfire, low and slow in the cast iron Dutch oven. We find a lot of campsites don't allow you to have an open fire, so we don't cook heaps with the Dutch oven. However, we love it when we do, and we made great use of it this weekend.
Yo.
That's what so everyone's looking
for you that.
Huh?
It's gonna go being different for you that, isn't it?
I need to clean it.
You're a nuisance. So this is the actual reality of bushwalking with Teddy. He ends up with all the little seeds stuck in his face and in his legs.
It's worth it though, wasn't it, puppy? Yeah.
Back in our favourite walking track, that Piano Flat. It's going to be our last trip here for quite some time.
Yeah, we came here for Easter weekend with family. A way of getting all the family together and having some family time before we're away from Southland for the next 4 months, and pretty cool that we got to do that in one of our favourite spots as well. So we've had a really cool weekend here. Today and the day before have been the best days weather-wise. The sun is shining today. The first couple of days were pretty cloudy and wet, but we made the most of it. With the last ones left today, Easter Monday, and it's actually tomorrow's Southland anniversary, so I think a lot of campers have packed up today and getting a day at home before they're back to work. Lately we have been talking about how like the rising fuel prices is, you know, like what we can do to change the way that we travel, because fuel and food are our most expensive costs on the road, and I'd say fuel has now far surpassed food for us, just with the cost of diesel at the moment. So we have been talking about like really being a bit more intentional about our travel and spending like at least 2 or 3 days in one place, just moving a little bit slower. We obviously still have to get to Picton for our ferry crossing at the end of the month, so one way or another we have to get up there, but we'll probably do a little less backtracking than we usually do. Sometimes we'll kind of follow the weather and just do whatever suits us on the day, but I think we're going to be a bit more intentional about heading in the right direction.
We were just doing heaps of little ticky tours, and wherever, you know, we took our fancy we'd go for a look. Yeah, so we'll just hold fire on that sort of travelling for a bit, and like Heidi said, be a bit more intentional.
A little bit more planning, but even, just spending a bit more time in places. Matt has got our bikes on the back of our van, so that's something that we have been doing while we've been back in Southland. So that's really cool, because now we're going to have the bikes to be able to explore when we are parked up in one spot. Another thing that we have been able to do to sort of change the way that we are dealing with the increased costs is we've had a good look at our budget, and some things that we're willing to compromise on we have adjusted. So there's a couple of things that we sort of went back through, like monthly and yearly costs, and were able to find some places where we could trim our budget a wee bit, because for us, like, it doesn't really matter what the cost of fuel ends up being. It's a cost that we have to like incur. So we've looked at a few other bits of our budget that we can make compromises on.
Yes, another thing that we don't usually do, but we're going to start doing, is we're not going to fill up with our water before we leave. We're going to fill up when we're close to the destination we're going to, so that we're not travelling around with an extra 150, 160 kgs worth of water. So every little bit helps. Bit of mechanical sympathy. So just the way that you drive your vehicle, go easy on the brakes, no hard acceleration, no excessive speeding anywhere, just taking it easy. We're not in any hurry. Other things like making sure that your tyre pressures are kept up to their recommended road going pressures. Simple things like rotating your tyres so that they wear evenly as well, and keeping up with your servicing, because believe it or not, having fresh engine oil in your engine makes it run more economically. I know it's an extra cost, but it's something that you should always keep up with. I'm servicing our van 3 times more often than what it's actually recommended, because 10 litres of oil in an oil filter is cheap, you know, compared to having any major engine issues going on. So that's, yeah, just a couple of things everyone can do. And yeah, we're definitely going to have to be a bit more mindful of it while this fuel is at such a high price.
And then I guess one other thing that we already did, but it's been interesting to talk to other NZMCA members, because we've found a lot of people don't actually use this benefit of being an NZMCA member, but that is the fuel cards that you can get. So when we signed up, we also signed up for a McEwen's fuel card, which means that we can use that card at all the McEwen stops and also other truck stops as well. And you pay the national price that McEwen set out each week, less a discount as an NZMCA member. And we have found that so far to 99% of the time be the best price, even when other fuel stations are having discounts. It's interesting, there's a lot of members that haven't done that, and so I've been highly recommending that, because it is making a difference when it's going up so rapidly at the moment. But probably the most important thing that we've had a discussion around, and that we're keeping in mind with all of this, is that we refuse to live in fear. Like, there's a lot of uncertainty and stuff going on in the world that can, you know, really sort of pull you down and make you worried, and we just refuse to live in fear of that. Like, it'll be what it'll be, and we just have to deal with it. Like, concentrate on what's in our control, I guess, rather than worrying about like watching the news and watching the fuel prices and panicking. It is what it is, and I have no doubt that we will face whatever comes along, and we'll deal with it. And you know, we talked about what's the worst that can happen. We have to park up and not go anywhere. Well, we love parking up in remote places and not going anywhere, so that'll be okay. That is probably the most important thing to us, is we're not letting it rule us. We've made some changes, the things that we are in control of. You know, we've got overseas trips planned this year, and like, whatever will be, will be. So yeah, just concentrating on one day at a time. But yeah, it is hard to worry about the state of the world when you're in a place as magical as this. I'm just sitting here editing this video, and I wanted to add in, there is actually something that I read the other day which has sat with me ever since I read it about fuel. And it went something like, what a privilege it is that this war is costing us more in fuel when this war is costing some people their lives. And I read that and I just thought, yeah, that puts it all into perspective. Like, complaining about the cost of fuel at the moment is nothing to complain about. And we're still really privileged to be getting to live this life and to travel our country and beyond, and to be able to experience the lifestyle that we are. So I just wanted to share that with you because that really hit home, and it's very easy in the everyday to get bogged down. Like, if you watch the news and if you're on social media, it's very easy worrying about the state of the world. But yeah, we still have a lot of privilege, and for that we are very humbly grateful. Matt off for a bike ride through the bush. Meanwhile, everyone around us is either already packed up and gone home, or they're in the process of.
We're just on our last day here at Piano Flat. And seeing as I've finally got the mountain bikes with us on the van, so I might as well take a ride. I've never actually ridden all the way in here on my bike, so that's pretty cool. And to all you hard buggers out there that ride in here on manual powered bikes, good on you. There's a lot of climbing in here, but yeah, mean we ride. Might go right through to the gate now, and then have a wee snack break and then spin around and come back. So yeah, bloody good. It's a cracker day up here on the top of Piano Flat, or the Old Man Range. Yeah, never been up here on my mountain bike, only ever been on dirt bikes or four-wheel drives. So yeah, trusty old mountain bike got me up today. You beauty. Now for the fun times. We're going down. It's going to be good. Looking forward to it. I'll catch you later down at the bottom, or maybe back at camp.
For those who've been wondering how Matt got on fabricating a bike rack for the back of Wolf, here it is. I have absolutely no hope of helping him with the loading and unloading of our bikes, but they're sitting up there solid and secure, and we're both stoked to have them with us for the adventures ahead. Having them secure was a big part of Matt's custom design for this, and there's quite a process to getting them on and off, including multiple tools required. Some will think this is far too much admin to get our bikes off for a ride, but we also hope that this makes it all too hard for the thieves that love to steal mountain bikes. What do you reckon of Matt's custom bike rack for Wolf? And please let us know in the comments where we should go riding around the country. We had great intentions of leaving that day, but instead a cleared out campground almost entirely to ourselves and a beautiful calm evening talked us pretty easily into staying another night, with the opportunity to cook over the campfire one more time.